All right, Stokastic, here we go. It's your old pal EMac finally back. You missed me last week. Maybe some of you did, maybe some of you didn't, but you got Greg Ehrenberg instead because I was at a concert checking out Hootie and the Blowfish because it was moved because of the hurricane in Florida where I live. And now there's another hurricane coming that is supposed to make landfall Tuesday night. So it's not part of the deal, darn it. But here we are. Matt, you've got the Guardians kicking ass. You've got some interesting run back here that we're going to see with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then, I mean, the factory of sorrow is just churning out product left and right. What happened? What happened to the Browns?
Your guess is as good as mine, my friend. Yeah, it's rough going around here as far as the clowns go.
Oh, the clowns. I never thought about that.
It is truly a circus every Sunday in downtown Cleveland or wherever they're playing. Deshaun Watson, QBR of like 8.5 today. His best game this season, QBR wise, is worse than Gardner Minshew's average QBR this year, and he just got benched today.
Don't you get points for putting on your jersey? Isn't that how it works with QBR? Isn't it like
it's rough.
The SAT, you write your name down and you get a score.
I watched a lot of that game today too, and he just looked awful. Now the whole team stinks. It's not just him, but clearly he's awful and paying him a ton of money, not even taking into account the off-field stuff. It's rough going as a Browns fan today. People are not happy. Let's just put it that way.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. So you have the clowns. I never thought of that. I'm going to break out the Sea Chickens. Clearly, they were a fake 3-0 after losing to the Giants today at home with the Giants missing.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Last week was a tough loss for them against Detroit. And someone, I can't remember where I heard this in the interweb somewhere in some podcast. Teams after playing Detroit this year are awful. The first week, Detroit played the Rams on Monday night or on Sunday night. The Rams got destroyed the next week. The next week, the Lions played Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay got destroyed by Denver the next week. Last week, Detroit played Arizona, or in week 3, they played Arizona. In week 4, Arizona got destroyed by Washington at home. Then they played Seattle last week, and Seattle loses at home to the Giants. I'm not like a huge trends guy, but the Lions have like the best O-line in football, one of the best D-lines. They're wearing teams out, and it seems to be, a serious effect the week after. So just something to put in the ether.
All right. That is kind of interesting here. Oh no.
I don't think Seattle's great, but I don't think they're bad. I mean, I think they're a middle of the road team that could make the playoffs, maybe.
All right. So Ben W, he's here not for a recap. He's here for the analysis. So my analysis is you should go grab one of the $1 head-to-heads in the DK lobby. Username EMac. I have about a 10% win rate this year. So for this free show, if you go take one of those lineups, you're probably going to win whatever it is these days, 90 cents off of me, because of course we're going to pay the rake. But that'll make it worth your while, because I have been horrible with the cash games. Doesn't matter if it's the showdowns, doesn't matter if it's the classic slate. I have been an unmitigated disaster. But I did have some fun last night with the college football sims, because I ended up taking down the mini-max there, or one of the smaller ones anyway. So I made about $1,000. So I'm happy, because I've lost every week in the NFL. And why would I start winning today when Ben W can come get team free money, sweet, sweet EMac bucks? How's that? Should I go into a read now, Ben? Would that make you happy? Because, I'm tasked with doing 4 of them today, but just for you, I could do one right now. Or we can talk a little bit more about what's going on tonight. So wrapping up here into this, scooting our way into this game, we'll look at the inactives here. We do have, let me get back to my page here. I know Deuce Vaughn was inactive. Tiny bit of a surprise. Doesn't really move the needle on anything else. We have Micah Parsons. We knew he was going to be out. You got Kalen Carson, who's out, and I am blanking on it, but they're missing a defensive lineman as well, they being the Cowboys. That is not going to be particularly helpful for them. On the Pittsburgh side, no Russell Wilson. We kind of knew that. At best, he's going to be a backup until something happens with Fields. It looks like Jaylen Warren missing a second consecutive game. Cordarrelle Patterson out with an ankle injury because he only ended up playing about 9 or 10 snaps last week before getting hurt. Roman Wilson, the rookie, is inactive. Michael Pruitt is also out. The longtime tight end, not really going to move the needle on those. But we have some, the Cowboys are moving things around on the offensive line. They've got, I think it's last year's rookie guard is learning to play center. And then I think they switched somebody into left tackle or somebody into a left guard from the other side of the line. So they're down some players. They're missing depth here. So what looked like a strength, which because the Cowboys typically put a lot of money into their offensive line, has not been much. And that's made things be a little bit dicey here for Dak Prescott. So let's jump into the game, Matt. Let's start her here at the top. Do you have a lean on who wins this one? I think Pittsburgh is what, 2.5 point favorites?
Yeah, I like Pittsburgh a lot here. Pittsburgh can run the ball. They've got a good defense. Dallas can't stop the run. They can't run the ball. It's a bad spot for them. Weather might get a little bit iffy in Pittsburgh tonight. Dallas has enough firepower if Dak is clicking where they can, put up points on anyone. But man, they're depleted on the offensive line. They're missing defenders. Their weapons are few and far between outside of CeeDee Lamb. So I'm not too high on the Cowboys right now. I don't think the Steelers are an amazing team, but the Steelers are who they are pretty much every year. Fields has been, I think, better than people have thought. So I like Pittsburgh to win this game pretty handedly.
And I think that's it. It's a 2.5 point spread there. I was just getting up some of these tabs here. So it's a field goal. We know that Pittsburgh is looking to make everything a rock fight at this point. Their defense, while it's not quite the Blitzburg level that it has been the last couple seasons, still it is really, really good. And we're only a month into the season, so clearly they can start getting more turnovers and sacks. They still have a really good defense. They just haven't quite gotten there as fantasy gamers would like. But when you've got the likes of TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Minka Fitzpatrick, Joey Porter Jr., Deshaun Elliott, I mean, you're looking at a really, really, really good defense here. And that's going to be tough because the Cowboys are also without Brandon Cooks, which is going to be an issue. And they still have the ghost of Ezekiel Elliott on their team. Now, that could be a Halloween theme, but right now we don't want any part of Ezekiel Elliott. But take us here, Matt, at the top. We'll kind of go by team today instead of sort of by position. But CeeDee Lamb last year was first or second in pretty much every receiving category that you can think of, every advanced metric. He and Tyreek Hill were kind of back and forth at the top of the list. He led the league in targets, in receptions. He was tied for plays of more than 20 yards, of 29 apiece with Hill. He was slightly behind Hill for total yardage and yards per game. I mean, these guys were super elite. Lamb has just not been there this year. Now he's pacing for what he's put up now. He's pacing to be a top 20 receiver, but there's a huge difference between top 20 and top 2 in the NFL for those truly elite folks. He's going to be getting a lot of attention on the defense because he doesn't have many other players to take attention off him. We'll get to the run game. It's dicey. No Brandon Cooks. That means Jalen Tolbert, the guy who could barely get on the field the last couple seasons, is in the mix. He couldn't even beat out Michael Gallup, who went to Las Vegas and then retired. So we got that Jalen Tolbert there. And then we're going to be talking about Turpin as well. All he does is score touchdowns when he gets the ball, but he doesn't get the ball very often. So what are you doing with Lamb? Is he your multiplier guy? Is there many reasonable scenarios where he has a multi-touchdown game?
I mean, not a great spot because it's against Pittsburgh, but he's the best player on the slate, and he is still a top five overall wide receiver in the league in my mind. So yeah, just because it's CeeDee Lamb, sure. He's not my favorite captain because he's so expensive, and I don't love the Cowboys in this game, but it makes sense. I mean, I like Pittsburgh to win this game, so I think that Dallas is going to be throwing. Dallas can't run anyways. I mean, Lamb is pretty much matchup proof. He can break a big play at any point. So he's certainly my favorite piece of Dallas. Not my favorite captain, but a priority for me in the utility spot.
All right. Some of the wasteland, some of the receivers that struggled against Pittsburgh, they did hold Drake London in week 1 to 3 targets, 2 catches, 15 yards. Cortland Sutton in week 2 was kind of shut down. Hell, Cortland Sutton was kind of shut down today too. So I don't know about this, but he had 4 targets, 1 reception, 26 yards. And then they were going against the Chargers, and then Joe Flacco replaced Anthony Richardson last week. So they're seeing a real good tandem here, but this defense is probably up for it. And your main point is key. This is a salary-based game, and CeeDee Lamb is basically the highest salary of everybody. He is a top 2 and top on DraftKings for median fantasy points, depending on which sources you're looking at. That's full PPR. He drops to 4th on FanDuel on most of the industry sites for the half PPR scoring. So normally we'd be just saying push all the chips in on CeeDee Lamb. It just doesn't feel great doing that this year. But where else are we going to go, Matt? Is there anybody else in the passing game that you like? And then
I mean,
you don't like.
You mentioned Tolbert. Tolbert's got to be in play as far as wide receivers go. But my second favorite piece of Dallas's offense is going to be Ferguson. I think he's just their second best offensive weapon behind CD, and he's fairly priced. He's like the clear second guy for me in this offense. I think he's good. I'm sure Dak is going to have to get the ball out quickly tonight. So I like Ferguson and I like Lamb. Those are my 2 favorite pieces from Dallas by a pretty good amount.
Yep, I would say that we are going to be aligned with that. No great surprise. That's how most people are going to assess this as well. Despite missing 1 game this season, Ferguson has the second most targets on the team behind only CeeDee Lamb. He had 18 targets, actually leading the team over the last 2 weeks. And we saw that he is absolutely the heir apparent for a long line of successful Cowboys tight ends. He's been fantastic. So Luke Schoonmaker is the backup. He only has 2 looks, both in week 3, except for week 2. He had 6 when Ferguson was out. That's important to know, 1, when they came, because he didn't get any last week, 2 in the week before. And it also just shows that tight end is a featured part of the Dallas offense. Nothing new there. It's been that way, reaching back, to the Jason Witten days, and even before that. So, Schoonmaker, kind of an afterthought. Brevin Spann-Ford is going to be on the field a little bit. They're basically only going to have 3 tight ends tonight. But with those offensive line issues and a good Pittsburgh defense, we could see Dallas go up to, they're running about 20% of the time with 2 tight ends this season. We could see them get up to 30% or more, because they're I don't know how they're going to move the Pittsburgh defense out of the way. Do you really want their third receiver? Or do you want a third receiver out there? I mean, we're looking at Turpin basically after with Cooks out. After Tolbert, that's falling off a cliff there. So I could see some more 2 tight end sets, but still that would help free up Ferguson to just be even more of a prominent option there, because now someone else can stay in and block. Ferguson, no matter what, he'll be on the field 70, probably 80% of the plays tonight. He's usually on for around 70, but we could see like 80%, 40% with the tight end split here. Anything else from the Dallas passing game?
No, I don't see it. Nope.
Okay. Do you know who led the backfield in snaps last week amongst the running backs?
Was it Hunter Lepke?
It was. He has played 30 and 29 snaps over the last 2 games. Technically, he had 52% snap share last week. Doesn't get very many touches. He did get his first 2 carries of the season, and he has 2 targets in 3 of the 4 games, so 6 total targets here. But he's mostly kind of in there as pass protection. We mentioned why they might be running 2 tight ends. There's a good chance he's going to be on the field quite a bit here because Ezekiel Elliott at this point, sadly, not providing that much of a threat anymore after, so many fun primetime games with him throughout his career. And then Rico Dowdle is, he's seems like he's working his way into the number 1 back, but despite getting the buzz most of the offseason in the NFL best ball world, these guys have both disappointed. Now, part of that's due to the offensive line, but Dowdle just doesn't look like he's really got a lot. He looks like probably like the equivalent of a fantasy RB2 or RB3 is kind of, he's an RB3 now, kind of flex play. If we were looking at full like season long perspectives, he could move into the RB2. He's never going to be an RB1. He just doesn't have the breakaway speed, doesn't have the vision, doesn't have the talent. He's league average. He's perfectly acceptable. Half the teams in the league would love to have him on their team, but that's it. He's not taking anything off the table, but he sure as hell isn't putting anything on it. Ladies and gentlemen, your Dallas Cowboys running backs. Would you like to add anything to that?
No, I like this Hunter Lupke though. I'm in on
Okay,
him.
let's talk a little bit about that. Do you have any?
It's more what you just said. Like their backfield sucks. Zeke is old and not good anymore. We've seen that trend for a couple of years now. Dowdle is fine, but clearly they don't have like a ton of confidence in him to give him all the work. And they like this Lupke. A lot of coaches speak about him, that he's worked his way into more opportunities. And he's $1,000 on a showdown slate. I think he's the top cheap guy, and I'm in on him here.
Okay. I like that. We'll get to kicker and special teams next. I do want to remind everybody, we have 1,000 people watching right now. Oh my goodness, that is a lot. Hit that like button. It does help us out. The CEO Tom likes to see that these weekend shows are surviving. Thriving would be even better, but thriving can be helped by you guys by hitting that like button. So we would truly appreciate that. Stokastic reached 100,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel today during the Stokastic NFL morning show, right? Our 4-hour block breaking down all things NFL for you heading up to main slate lock. But that was very, very exciting times here. We have a couple fun things out there. I mentioned that, I had a nice night in college football with the takedown there. You guys can get in on this fun as well because we have the Stokastic Avatar promotion. And with that, if you win or place top 3 in any contest with at least 5,000 entries and you have the Stokastic Avatar, if you do a screenshot showing that Stokastic Avatar with your victory, send that to Stokastic HOF on Twitter. You will get the opportunity to get your choice of a 1-month package there at Stokastic. So that is pretty good. I had 2 mini max finishes that would have qualified for that yesterday. But since I work here, I already get the tools, but I still rock the Stokastic Avatar, and you should as well. Justin Fields, apparently do we say good after 4 games? Is this a mirage? Do you think there's some substance? Is this a Mike Tomlinson, Arthur Smith situation where they're really not asking him to do more than he's capable of? He is pacing to crush every passing number he's had in his career. He's still getting a little bit of production with his legs, but clearly that's not a priority anymore. And then last week, he became the first Steelers quarterback to have 300 passing yards, 50 rushing yards, and score 3 touchdowns. Now, Cordell Stewart, he missed that mark by 1 rushing yard, and in his game he had 5 touchdowns. But that's pretty rarefied air for a team that's been around as long as the Steelers for someone to reach that lofty milestone in just 4 games. How do you feel about Fields? Is he your number 1 captain if you're playing cash games?
Yeah, I think if you're playing cash games, he's the guy. Projects as the top scorer on the slate. He's 2,000 less than Lamb. I don't even think it's really close. I think he's the top captain as far as projections go, and in cash games, that's all you really care about.
All right. What terrifies you with him? Or how could How could this go poorly? We've mentioned we're looking at a defense that's down 3 key contributors there. How do you feel Fields could rip out our hearts and show them to us while they're still beating?
It's Justin Fields. I mean, turnovers have been an issue in the past. If he doesn't have any explosives, like a big explosive plays, he's not like an amazing pocket passer. Certainly, he's been good this year. Last game, he was phenomenal. He put up 36 fantasy points, but other than that, he hadn't had 20 in any other game. So if Pittsburgh's winning this game, which I expect them to be, I don't think they're going to ask Fields to do too much. Not great weather. So there's certainly ways where Fields, he doesn't have to get a 0 to fail. If he gets, 15, he's probably not the guy you want in captain.
All right. Let's turn to Najee Harris. Harris has been, I don't even, so he's had a few good receiving games. He's had a couple 2-touchdown games, but he has been not even like average, but like actively bad from a fantasy perspective in his career. Let's see. I wanted to pull up some numbers here. This is his 4th year. They did not pick up his 5th-year option. He's averaging only 3.9 yards per carry for his career. Well, but he's catches passes, EMac. Come on, he's got that going for him. Yeah, he averages 17.3 yards per game as a receiver. That's not a lot. But there's no one left because Jalen Warren is out, as we mentioned. Cordarrelle Patterson is out. That leaves Aaron Shampklin, who I believe is a rookie, who played his first game. He played on 13 snaps last week. He had 1 carry. He's undrafted out of Harvard. And then you have Jonathan Ward, who has bounced around with 3 or 4 franchises. Mostly practice squad player, has popped up here and there, limited even on special teams. He's just kind of a deep backup. He even played in the USFL for a few games. He is from Harvard, so he's one of 3 Harvard. I had to look at his Wikipedia page today. He is one of 3 Harvard players in the league right now. He is $200. That's interesting on DraftKings. Both of them are $5,000. Both he and Shampklin are $5,000 on FanDuel. That means Shampklin is the better play. How are you feeling about the backup running backs here when Price is considered and Shampklin is 2,000 on DraftKings?
Yeah, I think like the Shampklin versus Lupke combo is real. I expect Lupke to be on the field more, but there's more like there's a more clear path to Shamplin's getting like all the carries in Pittsburgh backfield. If something happens to Harris, et cetera, you never know.
Yeah, mop-up duty would be a way to do it. Just the sheer volume. We're thinking he's going to get 6-8 touches tonight. When you look at Lupke, I mean, great, he's in there for pass protection. Even if Dowdle goes down, then that just means the Cowboys are going to probably pass on every play. He may see as many, well, that's slightly hyperbolic, but not by much. He may see as many rushing attempts as Turpin, because Turpin usually gets a designed run or 2 in interesting spots. So yeah, it's I mean, Lupke has the better median projection, but Shampklin has like 4 ways he could get there. None of them could come to fruition, but he has multiple paths to get it to 8 DraftKings points. so unless somebody lands in the end zone, we're talking about 6 to 8 DraftKings points. But it's Showdown. That can move you up hundreds of spots.
Yeah, I'm just struggling. Like, I don't even know. I between him and Lupke, like it's hard to play him over Lupke. Like, because there's worlds where they don't even play Shampklin at all. Like, this is probably just a 1-game thing where both Warren and Cordero are out. So like, just let Najee run it all game. Like maybe Shampklin gets like a couple carries here and there, but we know Lupke's going to be on the field. So I think Lupke is the safer play. I think Shampklin has probably higher upside, but like, I don't feel great about that. I don't know. That's just me.
No, these are all fair points. I'm just trying to sit here and think, if I work in Lepke, what does that allow me to upgrade? Because team free money's head-to-heads are out there. Right now I'm playing both kickers, but I could get away from, I could put Lepke in there, and then I could get up to like a Najee Harris, and all of a sudden I got Fields and Harris. So the theory being I'm gonna get all of the Pittsburgh running game. We'll get to their passing game here in just a moment, but that's one way to approach it. I guess here my other option is to play both kickers and the defense. We'll talk about defense because I think these are the two builds I've been landing on, and it all depends do we think more often than not Lupke is going to outscore the defense?
Yeah.
Do we think Najee Harris is going to outscore basically one of the kickers?
I don't know
if he doesn't get in the end zone. Not if he doesn't get in the end zone. So this is why we play the games. So I'll tell you guys right before we go to kick off here, because I'm going to make the wrong choice, because my main lineup has just been it's scorched earth, and I'm the one that's the crispy critter with this all freaking season. So I'll let you know which side you should land on. Take the opposite of me. That would be the way to go. Moving on to let's work in tight ends here a little bit. So Pat Freiermuth looks like he's got the job. There was some concern over the offseason in the DFS world that we were going to see Darnell Washington, who isn't physically imposing, just specimen. He is amazing. Thought was maybe he's going to overtake Freiermuth, but Freiermuth has played basically 75% of the snaps. So it seems that Darnold's going to be on the field a fair amount. Washington will be, especially with Michael Pruitt out. Then you've got and Pruitt's going to be out for the third consecutive game. So Connor Hayward, has seen about 29 snaps since Pruitt has been out, but he only has one target. Not to be confused with his brother Cameron Hayward, who plays defense. But how do you feel about Freiermuth? Is Washington any consideration in your limited lineup builds tonight?
Yeah, Freiermuth, major consideration. I'm not sure I'm going to get there just because of his price point. Not that I don't like it, just kind of an awkward price point. I like guys that are more expensive, and I like guys that are cheaper. Kind of the natural showdown build, though. So, yeah, he's definitely in play. The more that we're talking about this slate, the more I like the Lupke at 1K. Like, I think there's tons of worlds where this game plays out, and he's like the leading guy in Dallas's backfield. Now, I don't think that happens the majority of times, but he's 1K, and he's looked good to me. And I think he's going to be on the field, whether they're winning, whether they're losing. So when you play a guy like that, you only have so much room for the 6,600 players because you're playing guys like Lupke to get up to the Harrises and Fields and Lambs of the world.
So where do you land? And we're jumping back to Dallas here. Where do you land between Lupke and Turpin? So Turpin is 3,000 and Lupke is 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, give me Lupke all day. Like, certainly Turpin has higher upside. And if one of these guys takes a 60-yard catch to the crib, it's Turpin. But I mean, it's still Kevontae Turpin. Like, how often is he taking 60-yarders to the crib? Like, never. So I like Lupke more at the 1K price tag. If they were the same price, I'd probably play Turpin just because of the upside, but he's like over 3 times more expensive. I know that it seems weird to speak in that context because they're so cheap, but he's 3 times more than Lupke.
All right. So Turpin has in his career 28 targets, 18 receptions, 191 yards, 4 touchdowns. He has 16 carries for 130 yards and 1 touchdown. So he has 34 total touches and 5 touchdowns. They put him in a spot to succeed, but it's against a tough defense. When he's on the field, there's not too many other people drawing attention away from him, right? It's like, oh, here's the scripted play. It's gonna go to this guy. It's just kind of interesting here. He does have I think he has one. Does he have a kick return touchdown? I don't have I haven't looked that up. Sorry, on Pro Football Reference. So I'm gonna shift back to present day. I'd focus on that. So wrapping up the Steelers kind of tight end spot there. Freiermuth, yes. Washington in play. You're hoping for fortuitous red zone play, a 17-yard broken tackle. Maybe he gets into the secondary kind of reception. That's sort of his upside, but the volume's going to go to Freiermuth. What do you think about the Pittsburgh receivers here? Last man standing is Pickens, right? Because it seems like everybody else good they've had over the last 3 years has either turned crazy or is with other teams.
I'm a huge Pickens guy. I think he's uber talented. I love him tonight. I was on him big last week against Indy. He was very good. Would have been even better had he hauled in a touchdown that he probably should have. And tonight, I think Pittsburgh's just going to control this game, have the ball a lot. Pickens is their best playmaker. They're clearly missing guys out of the backfield. I like Najee a lot tonight. I think he gets a lot of work, but he's not, LaDainian Tomlinson of old or anything like that. So I think that Fields is going to try to get Pickens the ball as much as he can. It's a fine matchup against Dallas. I think Pickens has big upside here. I think he's a little bit under projected for us. And I think his upside, his ceiling is just massive here in my mind.
All right. There are three team free money lineups there left in the DK lobby, $1 contest. So you guys want to go grab those because I am hemorrhaging in my head-to-head games here. Let's take a peek at some fun things before we round out the rest of the Steelers receiving crew. I mentioned we had reached 100,000 subscribers today on the Stokastic YouTube. That was a lot of fun. Told you about the Stokastic Hall of Fame promotion. We'll drop the link into chat for that one. And then we also have let's see, NHL is coming up. So nice one, Matt. NHL is technically it already started. I believe there are 2 games in Prague earlier this weekend, but they're going to start in earnest on Tuesday. You guys can use promo code NHL24 and you can get the Stokastic projections and other tools for 5 days for just $1. So check that out. That is NHL, promo code NHL24. And then we also have all of our NFL fun and products. You can get into a variety of packages starting at $20. There's a little something for everyone, from the single lineup sim to the full sims package to the uber robust sims package, which just means you get to build out even more lineups. So that is very helpful. The max package allows you to build 10,000 lineups, unlimited exports. The core package allows you to build up to 1,000 lineups in your sim. That gets real data intensive, simulating these things 40,000 times with the prize pool or with the contest sizes and all of that are there. So that's why there's that demarcation in the price point, because the max package takes a lot of bandwidth on the back end. The last pass catchers that we can consider here, Calvin Austin. Yeah, but he has 10 of the 20 targets that have not gone to Pickens. Van Jefferson has 8. Scotty Miller has 2. And the only other receiver, do you know the only other receiver to set foot on the field this year for Pittsburgh?
The only other receiver set foot on the field.
Former teammate of Van Jefferson?
Ben Skoranek?
Ben Skoranek, baby. He's played on I think 7 or 9 snaps back in week 2. So there you go. This is yet another consolidated situation here. Obviously, Calvin Austin has at least the rapport of having been in this system, but not with Justin Fields. You've got Van Jefferson, who is incredibly disappointing. He's a technically sound player. You would expect that because dad's an NFL coach, but he's not much more than replacement level. And then Scotty Miller, we all know Scotty Miller, right? He's going to pop up every now and then. You'll at least hear his name called. Targets and catches, that's a different story. A big difference between Tom Brady throwing you the ball and Justin Fields here. So wide receiver really drops off after Pickens. I think Calvin Austin is a reasonable option. He does have a little bit of electric upside, but just the volume. I mean, like we said, 10 of the 20 snaps that 10 of the 20 targets that have not gone to Pickens have gone to him. That's 2 per game. It's not very much.
Do you know what Van Jefferson's legal first name is?
I do not.
Okay, it's Banshee.
Banshee.
Yeah.
Interesting. Did not know that. Did not know that.
Banshee LaShawn Jefferson Jr.
Oh, I didn't realize he was a junior either.
Yeah, I didn't either. I know his dad's Sean Jefferson, but had to look a little bit deeper to find out that they were
same like that's a little family name, but we go by different
yeah, right. It's interesting.
It is. Real quick on the kickers. Brandon Aubrey, 94.1% conversion rate on his 48 career field goal attempts. He also has a 65-yarder this season, second longest in NFL history. And he's made all of his extra point attempts this season. Let's see. Key things to know. Remember this, they forget what insurance company this is named after now, but formerly Heinz Field. Winds are a little tricky on that one end of the stadium, so you want to keep that in mind. But Aubrey is just he incredibly phenomenal, especially when you consider, 1, he didn't play college football. He was a soccer player. 2, he was in the MLS or on their second tier teams for 2 or 3 years. And then he spent 2 or 3 years, I think it was almost 3 years, with a kicking coach, learning how to kick. And now he has become almost immediately one of the best in the game today, which is just impressive. The other side, for Pittsburgh, you have longtime kicker Chris Boswell. He has been with the team forever. So he has, the impressive thing about him is he has an 88% success rate on his field goal attempts over the last 5 seasons. Why is that impressive? He plays every game outdoors at home. He plays every game in the NFC North or AFC North outdoors as well. So not in controlled environment here. So he is unflappable. The other thing is only twice has he attempted 9. His personal best is 9 field goals from 50 yards or more. He did that twice. He has 6 already this season. That's a nice trend, right? We're seeing kicking go up. I wish the DFS sites would have changed it to 6 points for a 60-yard field goal, Matt. That would be so much fun. That would be so much fun because it's been in play seemingly on what, half of our primetime games. This has just been crazy. On the defensive side, Dallas has just 2 interceptions this year, 1 lost fumble. They've given up 10 sacks. So they're not giving up a lot, but this is the team that could rip them up pretty good. For the Dallas defense, they have 8 sacks through the first 4 games here. Pittsburgh's given up 10. So the run heavy approach just tends to limit sacks and interceptions. I think only 1 interception for Fields so far this season. So defenses, we can get a splash play at any time. I think this is a good game for the Pittsburgh defense from a fantasy perspective. We just haven't seen them pop off like they had in prior, for the better part of the last 4 or 5 seasons, but that's going to be coming. Anything you want to mention on special teams? We have 9 minutes until kickoff.
Yeah, Aubrey's a beast in play on every Showdown site he's on, but I actually like Boswell more tonight. More familiar surroundings. He's the home kicker here. Pittsburgh trusts him. I think Pittsburgh moves the ball better than Dallas does tonight. So I'm on Boswell over Aubrey. I like both though. We have Boswell projected for higher and he's cheaper. And I would be shocked if Aubrey isn't significantly higher owned. We've seen that trend. You talk about trends. Aubrey's ownership on Showdown slates, that is trending up. He was like close to 50% in some contests the last one he was on. It won't be that high tonight because it's not indoors and he's a little bit more expensive, but he will be highly owned. We saw it even in the Tampa Bay Atlanta game on Thursday. What those teams score like 100 total points or 70 some total points. 2 kickers were in the winning lineup. Both of them had, I think, at least 1 50-yard plus field goal. They both made a few kicks and they were cheap enough where it just got you what you wanted. So yeah, I mean, I don't think that's going to happen tonight, but it just shows you that like basically in any type of game script, kickers can get there. I mean, Kadero Hodge scored a 60-yard touchdown on the final play of the game.
He had 2 targets.
The kicker still outscored him. Didn't even change the standings in that slate because of how high the scores were, and 2 kickers still made it in there. So kickers always in play on Showdown slates. Tonight is no exception.
And so this is something like Alex has been, and when he used to do the Showdown slates as the analyst, he was, with Monday Night Football for several years here at Stokastic, he would talk about how kickers just tend to be underrepresented in these Showdown slates. It's people are getting there a little more, but it's also because there's fewer touchdowns. I'm going like extemporaneously here, but basically through the first 4 weeks of the season, there have been the fewest points, the fewest passing yards, and some other metric like of the last 5 years. And it's been a precipitous drop between the too high, the cover 2, the cover 4, the cover 6 split. It's defenses are just, they don't want to get burned anymore. So everything's being kept in front of them. And I mean, look at the quarterbacks. Well, we had two who threw for more than 300 yards a game last year. Like the rest of people aren't even close. I don't know that anybody's going to make it this year. There are a couple people that are in there right now, but 17 games is a long way to go to maintain that against these kinds of defenses. It's just kind of interesting. But then you got somebody like Joe Flacco that, he's washed, he's old. Yeah, he's just seemingly found the fountain of youth. He must have been down here in Florida at the old Ponce de Leon treatment, because he has, he looked good for Cleveland. He's looked good for the Colts this year. And then you've got these other guys who are studs, especially going tomorrow night, Patrick Mahomes, just falling off the shelf. Just defense are just that much more complex. Variety of other reasons for Mahomes, but it's been crazy. It's been crazy. Who's the player you were most terrified that will ruin your night tonight because you don't have?
I think it might be Aubrey. I mean, he's been so good. Can only play so many guys if you're playing a few lineups, and I'm not playing him. I'm playing Boswell over him. So it's probably Aubrey.
For those of you wondering, I said I would call it out. I am not going with Lupke in my main lineup. I'm going with both kickers and the defense. The opportunity.
I love that for me.
Yeah, the opportunity was to go to Lupke. You could work in Najee, and then you can play the kicker of your choice. That would kind of be the other build Fields at captain. So don't do me if you're.
I think Lupke scores tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, that's gonna. I'm doing some ROI boosting here. So the interesting thing, I don't know that it's interesting.
You can't change it now. You can't change.
No, I'm not changing that. Oh, I'm going to be panicking. I got 4 minutes to get my lineups in, and I'm just finishing my sims here. So I'm ending up with more of CeeDee Lamb in the captain spot than the field, where I'm about even with Fields. I think I need to boost Ferguson. I need to come in on Harris, under on Harris, because he was 24%, and I just do not want 24% of Najee Harris in my captain spot. So let's add Ferguson. Some would say
if there was ever a Najee Harris smash spot, this is it.
It's this one. Yeah, well, I mean, you look, then why are you not building out more lineups with him at captain? I am the ultimate jinx. I am the lodestone from hell that is just dragging everybody down. This is just don't do what I do. And you guys are going to win tonight. This is amazing. Jordan, everything I said, Lupke overs, go unders on everybody else.
They're in an official delay in Pittsburgh, by the way.
What? How bad is the weather?
It says rain should be cleared in about an hour, though the delay will likely be longer than that. Oh my God.
No, I don't want to stay up late.
I'm gonna be long gone by the time this game's over.
Well, does the other baseball game already started?
It has. Tatis already homered.
Oh. Well, let me get my lineups uploaded here. That would be good for me because I was going to bet the Dodgers. I don't think I did. I had a prop from where's my upload tab? I had a prop here from Hard Rock. Or a boost, I should say. All right, my lineup's in. So you know what's great that we have, Matt, we have Odd Shopper, but we've built this out even more. We have something now called Tails that is associated with it. So what that means, if you follow somebody's bets, you are tailing them. So here you can get access to over a dozen different contributors here. You can pick which ones you want to subscribe to or follow. It's they're at varying price points. You get a little 1 week package or a 1 month package, and you get to follow all of their picks. And they're putting out a little bit some analysis with them. You want to follow Alex Baker, you're getting at least up through the rest of the WNBA playoffs. You're getting a whole bunch of WNBA props. He just posted that he has a 24.1% ROI, return on investments, since he's in on everything he has posted in his channel. That's pretty phenomenal. You get Laffy offering up all sorts of everything. You get Ben offering up all sorts of exotica. Is what I'm calling it. You want to bet on hockey leagues, field hockey, or soccer leagues that you have never heard of. He's going to recommend bets for you. He almost had a clean sweep of his entire college football slate and soccer slate yesterday. I think he went 9 out of 10 on his wagers. Ben's pretty good at this stuff. But what happened, man?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, I thought that was my lineups didn't upload face. I've made that face several times. I was like I was looking.
No, my phone just like fell. I thought it was going to make a noise.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, the noise is we got a couple promo codes here for you. You get if you want to follow Lindy, use promo code Lindy50. That's Lindy50. That's half off. You want to get 2 for the price of 1? You can get Laffy and Ben. Promo code BOGO. Get it? BOGO, buy 1, get 1. So that's a pretty good deal there. Or you can go to the Odd Shopper page, go to click on Tails, and then there'll be a list of the different betting platforms that you can sign up with through us. And those will also give you access to various members if you sign up through our links. So this is a great way to check it out. Jordan's got it up on the screen. It's a very elegant way to look at it. These guys all are in Discord as well, but this is a great display. You can set it up on your phone app. Just sends their notification straight to you whenever they're posting a bet. You get to react quickly on these. Everybody's putting out usually multiple bets per day. Some are incredibly prolific, but check that out. It's been something that I have thoroughly enjoyed. That is called Tails. And I mean, Tails never fails, right? Right? Well, until I start.
Something like that.
Something like that. That's it. We're at lock. We're at lock. I can't believe I'm going to have to. Well, it'll let me write my article, I guess, before the storm comes. So bonus there. I will finish my coffee, but I don't know that I'm even going to make it to kickoff, Matt. This is kind of no fun. Did they push back lock time?
No, they didn't.
Interesting. Which means they have showed the visibility, which means they will not unlock it. So
yeah, they will not unlock it. I'm sure everything was filled, so no reason to extend it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's not like NASCAR where it's like, oh, like for how many years and even when FanDuel was doing it, for how many years did they not understand the posted time? That just means that's about when the national anthem's going to be sung, the invocation starts, the driver introductions, all of that. It's usually like 35 minutes later. They finally got wise to that after like 4 years of it. But anyway, neither here nor there. But thank you everybody for watching tonight. We appreciate y'all here. Thank you for getting us to 100,000 subscribers on the Stokastic channel. That is always fun. Oh, how did the poll go, Jordan? Did people think I was going to get my lineups in or not?
The people believe in you a lot more than I do.
All right. Well, with that, I hear a violin music and orchestra kicking up in the background. So that probably means I'm going to need to be signing off here shortly. You guys can follow Matt on Twitter at FantasyTipsMatt. You can find me at EMac DFS. And of course, it is Stokastic_COM. With that, gamers, good luck.